Hi, I'm Dr. Sam Wells. Nearly 3 decades of working in healthcare for people over 50 have taught me one simple truth. We don't grow old in a single day. We age every morning. I want you to pause for a moment and really think about this. Have you ever woken up and felt like your body just wasn't yours anymore? Dizzy when you try to get out of bed. A sudden ache in your lower back. Or that foggy-headed feeling, like you're moving through a cloud. One of my patients, Helen, 68 years old, told me during a routine checkup, "Doctor, my mornings feel like a battle. Just getting out of bed takes everything I've got." Helen used to be full of energy. She taught dance to kids for years, but after retiring, she told me it felt like aging was swallowing her up little by little. Morning by morning. Her blood pressure would swing wildly. Her hands and feet were always cold. Her head would spin the moment she opened her eyes. She thought, maybe this is just what getting old feels like. I guess I have to accept it. But then something changed. She made a few small changes to her morning routine. No medications, no fancy equipment. And just 3 weeks later, she called me with a voice I hadn't heard in years, bright, energized, almost joyful. "Sam, I walked around the neighborhood twice this morning without stopping once." 6 months later, her cardiologist actually reduced her blood pressure meds because her numbers had stabilized so well. That didn't happen by luck. It happened because of habits, and Helen's not the only one. Most of the people I've seen who are still strong, clear-minded, and independent well into their 80s have one thing in common. They start their mornings differently. You see, according to the American Heart Association, your risk of stroke spikes during the first 1 to 2 hours after waking up. That's when your blood is thickest. Your blood pressure shifts rapidly, and your heart and brain are still waking up. So today, I want to share with you 8 simple yet powerful morning habits that can help prevent strokes, protect your memory, and keep you healthy, independent, and truly living each day. If you're in your 50s or 60s, or if you have aging parents, I genuinely invite you to share this video with someone you love. And subscribe to this YouTube channel, Wellness Unfolds, where I pour my heart into making medical knowledge easy to understand, practical, and full of meaning. Because I believe this. Living a long life isn't the hard part. Living well and not being dependent on anyone, that's what truly matters. So let's begin, right here, with your morning. Because just a few minutes each day could be the difference between a life spent managing illness and a life lived fully alert, free, and fulfilled. Habit 8. A workout for your brain. Recalling yesterday in reverse. Would you believe me if I told you that simply sitting still, closing your eyes, and mentally walking through your day backwards from night to morning could actually make your brain feel 10 or even 20 years younger? This isn't some old folk remedy, and it's definitely not a mystical or spiritual trick. It's one of the simplest, most effective brain exercises recognized by modern neuroscientists to help preserve memory, sharpen clarity, and reduce the risk of cognitive decline as we age. Imagine this. It's a quiet morning. You're lying in bed, not quite ready to get up. But instead of reaching for your phone, you close your eyes, breathe gently, and ask yourself, what did I do yesterday? What did I eat for dinner? Oh, who did I talk to? What was I wearing at the market? Shot. And then you start tracing your steps backwards, moving from the evening to the afternoon to the morning. It may seem simple, but it's a deep workout for your brain. When you recall memories in reverse order, you force your mind to step out of its usual routine. You activate areas involved in short-term memory, organization, and emotional regulation. I once had a patient named Harold. He was 74, used to be a sharp-minded attorney. But a few years after retirement, he started noticing small lapses, not big things, but the little daily stuff. Did I call my son today? Where did I put my car keys? When did I eat lunch? At first, he just chalked it up to aging. Then, his daughter, who happens to be a neurotherapist, suggested he try this reverse memory practice every morning. He laughed at the idea. Exercise for the brain. That's a new one? And he said, but after just 2 weeks, he called me and said, Sam, not only do I remember what I ate 3 days ago, but my mind feels lighter. Quicker, like I just oiled the gears inside my head. And there's real science behind that. Researchers at the American Institute for Brain Science have shown that intentional memory recall, especially in reverse, helps the brain produce more of a protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF as fertilizer for your brain cells. It helps build new neural connections, repairs weak ones, and slows cognitive decline. We've always heard that to keep your brain sharp, you should learn a new language, play chess, or read more. And while those are great, they take time, focus, and motivation not always easy. But recalling your previous day, that takes just 1 or 2 minutes in the morning, right there in bed, before your feet touch the floor. And here's something beautiful. This little habit doesn't just improve your memory, it helps you slow down and actually notice your life. In a world that moves so fast, where we often forget even the small joys, this practice of quietly recalling a simple conversation, a nice meal, or the way the sunlight hit your window, it reminds you that life is still full of meaning. I once asked a patient, "Do you think this exercise is helping?" He smiled and said, "I don't know if it's making me younger, but every morning I remember yesterday. I feel more aware, more grateful, and honestly, that's enough for me." If you've never tried this, start tomorrow morning. Just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and walk backward through your day. From dinner to the afternoon to lunch to breakfast, all the way to when you first opened your eyes. And if it feels good, take it further. Try remembering 2 days. Add in how you felt, what the weather was like, who you talked to, a sentence someone said. Every detail is like a tiny string that ties your brain to its younger, more vibrant self. You're not stepping back into the past. You're moving forward with clarity, strength, and a mind that's fully awake. Have you ever tried exercising your brain like this before? Habit 7. Get natural light right after waking up. What if I told you there's a kind of medicine that's completely free, requires no prescription, has no side effects, and can help regulate your blood pressure, improve your sleep, boost your mood, and even reduce your risk of stroke? Would you believe me? That medicine is morning sunlight. Picture this. You wake up on a quiet morning. Instead of flipping on the lights or grabbing your phone, you gently pull back the curtain. Soft, natural light spills into the room. You sit there for a few minutes, just letting the sun touch your skin, your eyes, and your breath. You don't need to go anywhere. Just 5 to 10 minutes of natural light exposure each morning starts a powerful reset for your body's internal clock. Have you ever heard of the term biological clock? It's not some abstract idea. It's the system that governs your body's natural rhythms, from blood pressure, hormones, and body temperature to even your emotions. And light is the most accurate reset button for that internal clock. One of my patients, Tom, years old, once told me he often woke up feeling empty and tired. Even though he slept a full 7 hours, he still didn't feel alert in the mornings. When I asked what he did right after waking up, he said, "I turn on the kitchen light, make coffee, and sit in front of the TV in a windowless living room, I suggested one small change. Each morning, before doing anything else, he should open the curtains, step outside for a few minutes, or take a slow walk around his yard, even if it's just 5 minutes. 3 weeks later, he came back, looked at me, and said, "Dr. Sam, I don't know why, but I feel fresher. Like a plant that gets watered at the right time every morning." He wasn't imagining things. Science backs it up. Morning light suppresses melatonin, the sleep hormone, and boosts the production of cortisol at a balanced level, dopamine, and serotonin hormones that regulate alertness, mood, and energy. Without light, our internal clock gets confused. And when that rhythm is off, the risks of high blood pressure, diabetes, sleep disorders, and even strokes quietly creep up. We tend to think of light as just a natural decoration, but to the human body, light is a biological command. A command that, if ignored, can throw your entire system off balance without warning. You don't need to go to the park. Just open a window. Step onto your balcony, walk around your garden, or simply stand still in the sunlight. The earlier, the better, ideally within the first 30 minutes after waking. And if you live somewhere with little sunlight or long winters, consider using a light therapy box. These lamps are designed to mimic natural sunlight and help keep your body's rhythms in sync. I remember a patient from Michigan, a state known for its long, gloomy winters. She had serious sleep issues and unstable blood pressure. But after she started using a light therapy lamp for 10 minutes each morning as a simple daily ritual, her sleep improved, her blood pressure stabilized, and her mood visibly brightened. What I want to tell you is this: light doesn't just help you see better, it helps you live better. It helps you tune into the rhythm of your body. It helps you tune into your emotional state. And it helps you start each morning not as someone aging and just getting through the day, but as someone consciously choosing to live with intention and awareness. So tomorrow morning, before making coffee, before touching your phone, I hope you'll throw open the curtains, stand quietly in the light, and feel a real awakening from within. What do you think about morning light? Have you ever tried making it part of your daily ritual? If you'd like, I can help you design your own sunlight corner right inside your home. Habit 6. No phone for the first 30 minutes after waking up. Be honest with me. What's the first thing you do when you open your eyes in the morning? If your answer is grab my phone, you're definitely not alone. In fact, more than 80% of adults in the U.S. check their phones within the first 10 minutes of waking up. Messages, emails, the weather, social media, news. I get it. I used to be the same. But then I started to notice something. On the mornings when I didn't touch my phone right away, I felt calmer, clearer, and strangely, my whole day just flowed more smoothly. And as I talked to my patients, especially those over 50, I began to see a pattern. They often felt anxious for no clear reason. Their thoughts felt scrambled, their mood unpredictable. Their blood pressure in the morning was unusually high even when they'd had a good night's sleep. You know what the cause was? Not their sleep, not their meds, but that thing they were holding in their hands before they even got out of bed, their phone. One of my patients, Linda, 63, had been living alone since her husband passed away. Every morning, she'd wake up, grab her phone, and scroll endlessly through news about war, accidents, outbreaks. She once told me, "I know I shouldn't look, but I can't stop. I keep scrolling, and my chest just feels heavier and heavier." I asked her to try something simple. Keep her phone out of the bedroom for 1 week. If she needed an alarm, use a separate clock. A week later, She came in for a follow-up and smiled gently. Mornings feel peaceful now, like they used to when I was young. I wake up and feel like I'm the one living my life, not someone being dragged around by the world. You see, the phone isn't just a tool. It's an open door to endless information. And when you've just woken up, your brain is in one of its most vulnerable states, right between the dream world and waking life, between the subconscious and conscious mind. In that state, anything you take in goes deeper. It shapes your emotional tone and activates your sympathetic nervous system for the rest of the day. Science calls this the alpha state of the brain after sleep, a short window where your mind absorbs and stores information more powerfully. If you flood it with anxiety, urgency, competition, negativity, those emotions will follow you for hours, and that directly affects your heart rate, blood pressure, stress hormones, and over time, increases your risk of stroke, sleep disorders, and memory decline. But if you use that time for stillness and slow, conscious connection with yourself, like taking deep breaths, sipping warm water, or simply gazing out the window, you trigger a completely different chain of reactions. Gentle, grounded, and protective of your heart and nervous system. I often tell my patients this: your morning is like a freshly planted garden. Whatever seeds you plant, those are the plants that will grow. If you plant noise, chaos, and stress, don't be surprised if your whole day feels like you're running, but you don't know where to. But if you plant silence, awareness, and intention, your day will move in that same rhythm. A colleague of mine, a neurologist, once said, "Sam, older people don't need more information. They need more silence." And honestly, I think that's true for all of us. So here's what I want you to try just for 7 days. Put your phone at least 2 meters away from your bed. Don't check anything in the first 30 minutes after you wake up. Use that time for light, for breath, for water, or simply to be present with your partner lying next to you. You'll notice a difference, and not in your phone, but in you. Will you give it a try? And if you've already tried this before, I'd love to hear your story. Habit 5. Do the 4-7-8 breathing technique right in bed. There's something a lot of older adults tend to overlook. The way you breathe in the morning can actually shape your heart's rhythm for the rest of the day. Breathing, it sounds simple, right? But it's probably the thing we pay the least attention to. We do it every second of our lives, yet we rarely notice how we do it. And that's something I want you to start changing beginning tomorrow morning. I had a patient, Joe, 70 years old, a retired construction engineer. He lived alone, healthy overall, but every time he came in for a checkup, he'd complain about one thing. "Dr. Sam, I don't know why, but every morning I wake up feeling uneasy, like something's off in my body. But I can't tell what." I ran all his tests, everything looked fine. But he still said, "My heart doesn't hurt, but it beats like crazy, as if I just finished a sprint, even though I've only just woken up." After a few conversations, I suggested he try a simple breathing practice, the 4-7-8 technique. Just 2 weeks later, he called me and said, "I still wake up the same time, still sleep the same hours, but now I feel calm. My heart doesn't dance anymore in the morning." So what is the 4-7-8 breathing method? And why does it matter? It's a technique developed by Dr. Andrew Weil, an integrative medicine expert from Harvard. Inspired by ancient breathing practices used in meditation, it's based on a simple truth: your nervous system, your heart, blood vessels, blood pressure, even your emotions is directly affected by how you breathe. When you breathe shallowly, quickly, and irregularly, like many people do unconsciously when they wake up, you're triggering your sympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for the fight or flight response. That speeds up your heart rate, raises your blood pressure, and brings on a wave of anxiety, even when there's nothing really wrong. But when you breathe deeply, slowly, and intentionally, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the part in charge of rest, recovery, and balance. The 4-7-8 technique is one of the fastest ways to bring your body back to a calm, centered state in just 12 minutes, and it's especially powerful right after waking up, when your body is transitioning from sleep to wakefulness. Here's how to do it. Close your eyes. You can rest your hand on your belly or chest to feel the movement. Inhale gently through your nose while counting silently to 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 8. Repeat this cycle 4 times, which takes about 1 minute. If you feel comfortable, you can go for 6 to 8 cycles. This isn't meditation. It's not yoga. It's just you reconnecting with your breath, something we all forget overnight. I once asked Rachel, a 67-year-old patient with chronic high blood pressure, how she felt after doing this for a month. She said, "Every morning, I open my eyes, put my hand over my heart, and breathe with the county. It feels like I'm telling my body, let's start the day gently." Okay. And it actually listens. Doctor. I really loved how she said that. Because it's true, your body is always listening. The real question is, are you talking to it? Deep breathing isn't just about feeling good. It's a powerful biological tool that helps you stabilize your heart rate right after waking up, lower your blood pressure naturally, reduce cortisol stress hormone in your system, increase oxygen flow to the brain, helping you feel alert, no coffee needed. And most importantly, lay a foundation of calm for your entire day. This habit doesn't ask for much. You don't need to remember complicated steps. No devices. No cost. No need to meditate or read a book. Just 1 minute and one conscious choice. Not to rush. I want you to try it tomorrow morning. Right after you open your eyes, before you even sit up, do a few rounds of 4-7-8 breathing. Think of it as your morning greeting to your own heart. A gentle, mindful, and kind way to say, let's begin. Have you ever tried this breathing technique? Or is there another type of breath work that helps you feel grounded in the morning? Habit 4, 90-second joint mobility movement right in bed. There's a sound I hear often every morning at the hospital. It's not the beeping of medical equipment or footsteps of doctors. It's the popping and cracking from knees, backs, and shoulders of older patients as they try to get out of bed. Have you ever heard that sound in your own body? Or maybe you wake up feeling stiff as a board, like it takes a few minutes just to loosen up before you can safely stand. If so, you're not alone. And it doesn't mean you're weak, it just means your joints are asking to be gently and properly awakened. When we sleep, especially as we age, the fluid around our joints called synovial fluid thickens due to lack of movement. That makes the joints stiff, less flexible, and more prone to friction or injury. If you sit up too quickly, get out of bed suddenly, or twist the wrong way, you can strain a muscle. Twist a knee or worse, take a fall. I had a patient, Mr. Dennis, 69, who was pretty active and went for walks every afternoon. One morning, though, he rushed to answer a phone call, leaned too far off the bed, twisted his hip, and fell. Thankfully, nothing was seriously injured. But after that, he became afraid to get up in the morning. And with that fear, his sense of independence started to fade. I asked him, "When was the last time you stretched before getting out of bed?" He gave a half smile and said, "Probably back when I was still in school." That's why I always encourage my patients to spend just 90 seconds in the morning doing simple joint movements before standing up. No equipment needed. No need to even leave the bed. Just a few mindful, gentle motions. Imagine your body like a machine that's been resting overnight. You wouldn't power it on without first greasing the gears. Your joints work the same way. Those first movements of the day, if done correctly, can help prevent injury, activate your nervous system, and get your day started with more stability and confidence. Here's the simple routine I usually recommend, all from the comfort of your bed. Lie on your back and start by flexing your feet. Then gently rotate your ankles 10 times in each direction. Then slowly sit up, letting your feet touch the floor. Once you feel balanced, softly rotate your knees as if drawing small circles in the air. If your knees are weak, even the smallest movement is enough. Once standing, hold on to the bed or a chair. Gently lean your upper body side to side. Slowly roll your shoulders backward a few times. Feel the joints stretch out, like unfolding a piece of cloth that's been tucked away too long. You don't need to sweat. You don't need to push your limits. This isn't a workout. It's a wake-up gentle, kind, and respectful. You'll never forget something a 72-year-old patient named Elaine told me after doing this for a few weeks. Dr. Sam, I no longer feel like an old person struggling to get up. I feel like someone gently opening the door to a new day. That sentence is why I keep repeating this message to everyone. Stretch your joints every morning. Don't underestimate small movements. Just 90 seconds can help reduce your risk of falling, slow down joint degeneration, improve balance, and maybe most importantly, help you feel more in control of your body. If you've ever woken up feeling stiff or nervous that those first few steps might send you off balance, I hope you'll try this tomorrow morning. Don't rush to stand. Give your joints a chance to breathe gently. Have you ever tried stretching your joints before getting out of bed? If so, what difference did it make for you? Habit 3. Drink warm water with 14 lemon right after waking up. There's one habit I always emphasize to my patients over 50, so much so that many of them joke with me. Dr. Sam, I think of you every morning because of that warm lemon water. And honestly, I am glad they do. Because if there's one small habit that can make a big difference for your heart, brain, and your body's ability to start up after a long night's sleep, it's this one. You might be wondering, can a single glass of water really be that important? Let me paint a picture for you. While you sleep, your body doesn't stop working. Your lungs breathe. Your heart pumps. Your body regulates its temperature. All of that activity, done quietly through the night, causes you to lose nearly half a liter of water just through breathing and sweating. But when you wake up, you usually don't feel thirsty. So most people begin their mornings mildly dehydrated and don't even realize it. And this isn't just about a dry throat or dull skin. Morning dehydration thickens your blood, making your heart work harder to pump it, especially to the brain. In an aging body, where blood vessels aren't as flexible as they used to be, that extra strain can trigger a stroke, especially in the first 12 hours after waking, which is the most high-risk window of the day. I once had a patient, Ronald, 62 years old. He considered himself healthy, exercised regularly, ate well, but one morning, just after leaving his bedroom, he suddenly collapsed. Luckily, his family got him to the hospital in time. When we looked into it, everything checked out except one thing. He had a habit of going straight to coffee every morning without drinking water first. That, combined with the natural spike in morning blood pressure, was likely the trigger. Since then, he calls warm morning water his lifesaver something. He never skips now. But why the 14 lemons? It's not just for flavor. Lemon contains vitamin C, potassium, and natural electrolytes, which help soften blood vessels, improve circulation, gently stabilize blood pressure, support liver detox, and boost immunity. And though it sounds acidic, lemon actually helps alkalize the body after digestion, which is a big plus for older adults with sensitive digestion. The key is timing. Drink it within the first minute after waking up, right there in bed, before you do anything else. At that moment, your body is like a dry sponge. Anything you put in will be absorbed more effectively. Also, don't drink cold water. Cold water in the morning can constrict blood vessels and slow circulation. Warm water, on the other hand, helps dilate vessels, activate digestion, kickstart the liver and kidneys, and soothe your nervous system. You don't need to force a large amount. One glass about 250 to 300 ml is enough. If you're not used to the lemon taste, start with just a few drops. The most important part is consistency. You won't feel the difference in one day, but stick with it every morning. And in a few weeks, you'll notice your body feeling lighter, your mind clearer, and your digestion smoother. I had a patient named Cynthia, 67, who struggled with constipation and morning bloating. After 1 month of sticking to warm lemon water, she came back and said, "Dr. Sam, I no longer carry that uncomfortable belly all day. I feel light right from the first step out of bed." I've heard hundreds of stories like this, and every time, I feel moved. Because big changes in life don't always come from big actions. Sometimes they come from one small glass of water taken at the right time, with the right intention. So tomorrow morning, don't rush to jump out of bed. Sit up slowly. Take the warm lemon water you prepared the night before. Sip it mindfully, and let it flow through you like a gentle wake-up call to your entire system. Because sometimes, the only thing standing between you and a stroke isn't an expensive pill. It's a glass of water at the right moment. Have you ever tried drinking warm lemon water in the morning? How did your body respond? Habit 2. Kickstart your blood circulation in the first 60 seconds after getting up. Try to remember the last time you got out of bed and felt a bit dizzy. That lightheaded feeling, like the blood hadn't reached your brain yet. Your vision might have gone a little blurry for a moment. Maybe you grabbed the edge of the bed. Maybe you sat right back down. Or maybe you even fell to the floor. It seems harmless at first, but those moments can be an early warning sign. When blood flow hasn't returned to normal after lying down all night, it can lead to serious risks, especially if you're over 60. We're talking sudden drops or spikes in blood pressure, loss of balance, and even stroke. See? Your body's a closed system of tens of thousands of blood vessels. And during sleep, gravity pulls blood toward your legs and abdomen. When you shift suddenly from lying down to standing, your heart and vessels have to pump that blood up, especially to your brain. But in older adults, those systems slow down. Valves in your veins weaken. Your heart pumps slower, and blood takes longer to circulate. That's what causes the dizziness, the imbalance. I had a patient, Bernard, 73. He used to work with heavy machines, strong and quick, but over the years, he started saying, "My legs don't catch up with my head anymore." One morning, he jumped up too fast to answer the door, lost his balance, and hit his shoulder on the hardwood floor. Thankfully, no major injury. But after that, he became afraid of simply getting out of bed. I remember telling him, "Your body isn't weak. It just needs time to warm up after resting all night." So I taught him a simple exercise. Takes only 60 seconds. And he's been doing it every morning since, like a sacred ritual. Here's what I showed him. When you first get out of bed, stand with your feet shoulder-width apart. Let your body relax. Take a deep breath through your nose and stretch your arms high above your head, like you're reaching for the sky. Hold that stretch for about 23 seconds. Then slowly exhale through your mouth as you lower your arms. Do this 2 times. It opens up your chest and helps bring more oxygen into your body. Next, roll your shoulders backward 5 times, then forward 5 times. That loosens up your upper back and shoulder area. Finally, do 10 slow heel raise, lifting your heels off the ground and back down. This activates the second heart in your calves, helping push blood back up toward your heart and brain. That's it. Less than a minute. No equipment. No help needed. But the results are powerful. Science backs this up. Just 60 seconds of the right movement after waking can increase blood flow to the brain by over 40%. And it can cut fall risk by 30% in older adults. Not even most medications can promise that. What's more, your body isn't the only thing that feels lighter after this practice. Your mind does too. One of my patients, Marie, 69 years old, once told me, "I feel awake even before I make my morning coffee." We're not young anymore. But that doesn't mean we're powerless over our bodies. In fact, this stage of life is where small decisions carry the biggest weight, especially in the first 12 hours of your day. When you choose to activate your blood flow the right way, you're not just taking care of your heart and brain. You're sending a message to your nervous system that says, "I'm ready. Let's start this day calm and in controls." And that sense of control is what helps you live longer, live stronger, and most importantly, live without fear of your own body. If you've never tried this, I hope you'll start tomorrow. Set your alarm just 2 minutes earlier. Stand up slowly and begin this 60-second ritual as a small act of love for yourself. Because at this age, love for yourself isn't something you say. It's something you do quietly, consistently, every morning. Now, are you ready for the final step in your morning journey? Habit 1 is the foundation that helps you not only stay healthy, but maintain the strength of your muscles over time. If you've ever felt yourself getting weaker with age, I think you'll want to hear what's next. Habit 1. Eat enough protein within 30 minutes of waking up. One of the most common questions I get from patients over 60 is this: "Dr. Sam, I eat well every day, but I still feel weaker. My muscles are shrinking, and my arms and legs don't feel as strong anymore. Why is that?" And the answer often lies in something people rarely pay attention to: the timing of your breakfast, especially when it comes to protein. It's not just about how much you eat, but when you eat it. Let me explain it this way. While you're sleeping at night, your body doesn't just rest, it's still working. One thing it does is break down muscle tissue for energy. In younger people, that happens slowly, and their body quickly recovers with breakfast the next morning. But after age 50, your ability to synthesize protein slows down. That means if you don't give your body protein at the right time in the morning, the muscle you lost overnight might not be rebuilt. Science calls this anabolic resistance. Basically, your body doesn't respond to protein as strongly as it used to. Over time, this leads to muscle loss, weaker immunity, higher risk of falling, slower recovery from illness, and eventually, losing your ability to live independently. I remember one patient, Ruth, 71 years old. She lived alone in a small home in the suburbs. She told me she always tried to eat enough each day. But when I asked what time she usually had breakfast, she said, "Around 10 a.m., after I clean the house." So I gently suggested, at your age, your body needs protein within the first 30 minutes of waking up. Not 3 hours later. We reset her morning routine. She would wake up, drink warm water with lemon, do a bit of deep breathing, the 4-7-8 method, stretch lightly, and then have a protein-rich breakfast. After just 2 months, she told me she could walk up the stairs without holding the railing. She was sleeping deeper, and her mood had improved. Now you might ask, what exactly should I eat that early in the morning? Nothing too fancy. One of the quickest options is a protein smoothie made with almond milk and a spoonful of peanut butter. Or simply boiled eggs around 4 egg whites and 1 yolk. If you're vegetarian, go for soft tofu, cottage cheese, or a plant-based protein powder made from beans, rice, or flax, depending on what your stomach handles best. The key is hitting around 25 to 30 grams of protein in your breakfast. That's the amount recommended by the National Institute on Aging to help maintain muscle mass, boost immunity, and slow age-related physical decline. I had another patient, a 65-year-old man, who used to skip breakfast and eat a big dinner instead. When I asked why, he said, "I'm just not hungry in the morning." But we shifted his habits, starting with a glass of warm water and a small Greek yogurt mixed with protein powder. After a few weeks, he told me, "I don't feel drained anymore when I leave the house in the morning. It's like I'm fully recharged from the inside out." And he was exactly right. Morning protein isn't just about building muscle. It's a signal it tells your body, keep what's valuable, don't break it down. If you've ever looked in the mirror and wondered, why am I moving slower? Why is it harder to stand up? It's not just aging. It might be the muscle loss happening every morning when you delay eating protein. You don't have to change everything. Just prepare a few things the night before: a cup of yogurt, a boiled egg, a scoop of protein in water. Simple, but powerful enough to support you all day. Don't let your body fall into a protein deficit state, because after 60 hours, getting enough protein early in the morning isn't just a choice. It's a survival strategy. So let me ask you, are you eating your breakfast at the right time? Is your body being protected each morning? If you've never thought of breakfast as a way to fight off frailty and weakness, maybe today is the day to start over. Now that you've learned about these 8 simple morning habits, you have a new toolkit that could transform your health at 60, 70, and far beyond. Age isn't the enemy of health. What truly erodes our well-being is forgetting the small things, the quiet, daily choices that slowly strip away your clarity, your independence, and the vitality you deserve in every moment you're still here. Today, I shared 8 simple morning habits. Each takes just 1 to 5 minutes. No equipment, no cost. Yet together, they hold the power to reduce your risk of stroke, slow memory loss, protect your heart, preserve your muscle, and help you stay strong and self-reliant for years to come. From sipping warm lemon water to waking up your circulation with just 60 seconds of mindful movement, to calming your nervous system with 4-7-8 breathing, to replaying yesterday in reverse to sharpen your brain. Each act may seem small, but done with intention and consistency, they can transform the trajectory of your health. And if you're still asking, can something this simple really change anything? Sure. Remember this, health is not built in breakthroughs. It's built in quiet discipline, in the right choices repeated every morning, when your body and mind are most open to change. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone you love, because sometimes just one habit introduced at the right time can preserve an entire life. And if you'd like to keep walking this path with me toward a life after 50 that's healthy, strong, and deeply independent, subscribe to Wellness Unfolds and turn on notifications. He'll be here every week with science-backed, heart-centered advice, as if we're sitting face to face, talking honestly about what it means to age with grace, without fear and with purpose.